As the fierce battle for West African sovereignty enters a decisive new phase in May 2026, the Malian Armed Forces have just delivered a crippling blow that has shattered the logistics of the FLA rebel alliance. In a precision strike that feels like a scene from a high-stakes thriller, Malian air power descended upon a massive fuel depot tucked away in the desert of Tindelac, just 20 kilometers from the Algerian border. This was not just another skirmish in the sand, it was the surgical removal of the rebels' lifeblood, occurring at the exact moment their leadership was gathered nearby to film a propaganda video. As the smoke rises over the northern frontier, the message from Bamako is loud and clear. The time for hiding in the shadow is over, and the era of unmonitored proxy war is meeting its fiery end. Good day, you're watching the Global Observer. I urge you to stay right there. Our lead story today examines the worst nightmare of the FLA rebel and how the destruction of their fuel supply has effectively grounded the insurgency that sought to tear Mali apart. Understand why this fuel depot was the most important target in the entire northern region? You would have to think of the desert like a vast empty ocean. In the Sahara, a truck without fuel is nothing more than a very expensive paperweight. For 2 years, the FLA has used this hidden corridor near the border to refuel the convoys that terrorize the north. They don't pick their camps because they like the view. They pick them because they sit on top of strategic trafficking routes and artisanal gold mines. But destroying this depot, Mali didn't just hit a building. They broke the gas station of the revolution. The motorcycles and pickups that the rebels use for their social media video don't run on water. Without diesel, their propaganda machine is stuck in the mud, and their ability to launch lighting raids is gone. But the success of Day 17 wasn't limited to the northern desert. While the Air Force was busy in Tindelac, a routine Malian patrol in the south ran into a deadly trap that turned into a victory for the state. In the Kuala area, a column of fighters linked to the extremist group JNIM was moving in the shadows, not toward the military base, but towards a civilian convoy filled with food and fuel for the capital. It was a classic starve them out play. The kind of move a bully makes when they realize they cannot win a fair fight. However, the Malian patrol fought back with a determination that stunned the attackers. By the time the dust settled, the rebels had fled, leaving behind machine guns, motorcycles, and their dignity. It proves that the Malian military is no longer just holding the lines, they are actively hunting the hunters on two fronts at the same time. This shift from defense to offense reveals a cold and brilliant new doctrine from the Malian general staff. The rebels want a bloodbath in the street of Kidal because they know that tragic photos in the news are their best weapon. They want to see pictures of destruction that they can use to beg for more foreign aid. But Mali is refusing to give them that gift. Instead of a messy street fight, Mali is using a strategy of strangulation. They are using reconnaissance flights and high-tech radar to watch every move from above. They are hitting the fuel, the food, and the leadership camps. It is a slow, steady squeeze that makes it impossible for the rebels to eat, move, or feel. Like a snake losing its breath, the insurgency is finding that it can no longer function in a sky controlled by the AES. We must ask ourselves, what is really buried under the ground that makes people fight so hard for this territory? This isn't just about the flag over a city. It is about the El Dorado of resources hidden beneath the sand. Kidal sits on a mountain of unmined gold, with estimates suggesting Mali holds the third largest reserves in Africa. Then there is the lithium in Broadening, which is essential for the world's electric car batteries, and perhaps the biggest secret of all, in the Tindelac basin, which holds billions of barrels of oil and trillions of cubic feet of natural gas. For decades, foreign companies from France, Canada, and the US have held licenses here, waiting for a state too weak to set its own terms. The war is the pleasure play used to keep the government humble, so the resources stay cheap. But the government that has been building since 2020 is not playing by the old rules. They have revised the mining code, audited the books, and demanded that the wealth of the land actually stays in the land. This resource nationalism has already brought hundreds of millions of dollars in the Malian treasury that used to disappear into foreign bank accounts. This is the deeper war that the mainstream media won't tell you about. The attacks on April 25th were not just a rebel uprising, they were a regime change attempt sponsored by those who want to go back to the old unfair contracts. When Mali hits a fuel depot in the north, they are protecting the oil and gold that belongs to every Malian child. There is also the neighborly question that we cannot ignore. The geography of this strike is very telling. Only 20 kilometers from the Algerian border. For years, fuel and supplies have moved across that line with very little trouble, while we don't have a signed paper saying where the rebels get their diesel. You don't need a map to see which way the wind blows. Algeria has maintained a zero tolerance. The zero tolerance policy for Malian drones near their borders, yet the rebels seemed to find plenty of space to build a massive logistic base right under their nose. By destroying that base, Mali has effectively told all its other neighbors that the old look the other way policy is over. The border is no longer a shield for others who want to see Mali fall or fail. The security of one African state is now the security of all. What is happening in the Sahel right now is a blueprint for the rest of the continent. The same playbook being used against Mali, the use of proxy rebels to create instability so resources can be stolen, is being run in the DRC, in Sudan, and in Mozambique. The AS alliance of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso is proving that Africans can secure their own borders using their own strategy. They are showing that you cannot and you don't need a foreign big brother to tell you how to fight. When the 15th and 17th days of these conflicts show such massive gains, it sends a message of hope to every African capital that is tired of being told they are too weak to lead. As the smoke clears in Tindelac, the reality on the ground is changing fast. While the rebels still claim to hold part of the Kidal region, they are finding that holding ground is very different from owning it. They are trapped in a region where they cannot move without being seen by a radar control in Bamako. Their propaganda videos are being interrupted by the reality of a modern air force. The strangulation phase is working, and the desperation of the rebels is showing in their attacks on civilian trucks. It is a long road to total peace, but on day 17, the path became a lot clearer. The rebels have lost their fuel, they have lost their cover, and they are quickly losing their time. Thank you for watching the Global Observer. Keep an eye out for more.